Hi, this is Joe Kwan, the Connection Counselor, and welcome back to Executive Tune-Up. Today we're going to talk about something that makes people's lives pretty miserable at work, and that's not getting along and conflicts. So it may be someone on your team who you manage who you just can't get along with. It may be someone above you who's your boss who you just can't see eye to eye with and you're always arguing. And here's a tricky one that I hear a lot. It could be sort of a cousin or sister or brother team where you don't have any direct control and they're not even in your line of sort of reporting and escalation. And so they have equal power to you and you just can't get along with that person. Well, today we're going to talk about how we can move past that conflict and make your life at work a lot better. So, how do we move past conflict, and why is it so common that we just can't see eye to eye with people? You'd think with equally intelligent people that working on similar projects where it makes sense for everyone to succeed, there shouldn't be a problem. And part of the problem is, let's just call it a misconception as to why these conflicts arise, which makes it difficult to actually extricate ourselves from them because we're not understanding how it really works and the root. So what I'm going to share with you, if you initially think that this is ridiculous and doesn't make any sense, that's exactly what I expect a lot of people to believe, because initially when I thought about this and learned about this, it didn't make sense to me. But I promise you, if you understand this and start to apply this and use this, it will transform the way you deal with conflict. So what happens when you walk into a meeting and you know it's going to be tough to get the person to agree with you, no matter who they are? So you gather all your facts, your charts, you have all your arguments and your counter arguments, and you go up there and you just argue so greatly, and you have all the great facts. Now, does everyone just roll over and say, yes, of course, you're right, that's exactly the way we should do it and not the way I wanted to do it 5 minutes ago before you started talking? Absolutely not. It almost never works that way. And even when people do agree, maybe they feel forced to agree, it's like a fake agree, and they're just waiting to get back at you later. So it's interesting to me that facts actually fail fabulously. They don't actually do as much as we think they would do. Now, why is that? We're all intelligent people working toward a common cause, right? We're not bad people. Why is it that facts fail so fabulously? And the key is, it's the feelings that fuel the fights. And by feelings, I don't mean like I don't like you because you were mean to me the other day, although that can play into it. I mean the feeling around your comfort level of what's going on, what's being proposed, the way you do things, and how that may change going forward. Those sorts of feelings in terms of security, control, those sorts of things. Those are the things that are actually fueling the fights. So you can throw all manner of facts at a person, but if those facts don't impact and change their feelings, you're not going to get very far, because intelligent people can always come up with a rationalization or another scenario to counter your scenario if they don't feel like agreeing with this. And we've all seen this in our personal lives, right? Where there's someone and they're about to make a bad decision, and all the friends and family gather around and they say, oh, you shouldn't do this, and this is the reason why, this is a bad investment, a bad relationship, a bad house purchase, whatever. And the person's like, I'm still gonna do it. You just don't understand. You don't understand how I feel about it. So it's not that feelings are the enemy, it's that you're not addressing the feelings, so you can't really expect them to change what they do, because the feeling is the driver of what they're going to do. And having conflicting feelings which are butting up against each other and not helping each other is what actually fuel the fights. Now, why is that? and what's actually going on and what can we do differently. Well, if you see at the top, this is often the level we operate on, the facts, right? If I just bring the right facts and present them in a snazzy way, everyone's going to agree with me. We've already established, and I think you've experienced this in life, it doesn't really work that way. And when you do get a commit or an agree, it's often a fake or temporary commit or agree. Now, feelings you can kind of see, which are right above the surface, they're the ones that kind of drive those conflicts, because the way people feel, if it doesn't change, the facts are not going to be do too much. Now there's a third level, which is even more powerful, which is below the surface, which we don't often get to see. And often the person you're dealing with doesn't even really know themselves. And that's the personal needs of the person. And I mentioned some of these before, like security, control. Those sorts of things are really the things that would excite the person to go along with you, right? So the feelings point to what's underneath the surface directly below, which is the personal needs. So if you think of it as a sequence, the personal needs are there, and when the facts come, depending on what they are, they will affect people's feelings. And if the facts make people seem like their personal needs aren't going to be met, the feeling is going to be one of, I'm not so sure, or that's a horrible idea. So what this really means is arguing on the facts and the feelings is much less effective when you don't understand what the personal needs are, because that's what really powers relationships. So when you can understand the personal needs of that person and tailor what you're doing, align it, not to change what you're doing, right? But to show the facets of it that align with their actual personal needs, you'll have much more success in them having a better feeling about what you're proposing, and the facts that you present will be seen in a much more collaborative, much more beneficial light. So you still may not believe what I'm saying. I would encourage you, maybe in your next interaction where you're having a conflict, just to think about this and just observe, or even observe other people in conflict and see when it gets resolved, what was it that was really resolved? Was it the facts that resolved it, or was it something else in the communications that shifted the personal needs and the feelings that actually made the facts, easier to swallow? So thanks so much. My name is Joe Kwan, the Connection Counselor, and thanks for tuning in to Executive Tune-Up. Remember, to do your best, you have to be at your best. So tune in to Tune Up.